What's up, YouTube? This is me, Asian Dave, aka Fanatical for Jesus. I'm coming to you right now. I just want to make a video response. This is gonna be like I'm just gonna break it up into two parts. Like I'm in the middle of watching a debate between Dr. James White, who is, as you know, or you may or may not be familiar with him. He's a Reformed Baptist, and probably one of the best Reformed Baptists out there. And David Silverman, which I'm pretty sure most people are familiar with him. He's an atheist. The debate was supposed to be between Dr. James White and Christopher Hitchens, but I guess at the time Christopher Hitchens was undergoing chemotherapy in the hospital. So that didn't happen. But the topic of the debate was, is the New Testament evil? And yeah, so I'm just going to give my thoughts on this debate. But I'm not done with the debate, so like I said, I'm just going to go off of what I've seen so far, and I'm going to break it up into two parts. Anyways, so, I've watched a good majority of it already. Like, they're already at the last section of cross-examination, so. But anyways, if you want, you can feel free to go check it out yourself. It's on Dr. James White's page, Alpha and Omega Ministries, on YouTube. But the title of it is the New Testament evil, and I'm pretty sure if you type that in, I'm pretty sure it'll be one of the top ones that come up. But it's interesting because in the beginning, it was funny because David Silverman is so stupid. Like, he freaking, in the beginning, like, he makes a lot of arguments, a lot of emotional appeals about, talk about the Bible and saying that, they talk about babies being burning in hell and stuff, trying to pull at our heartstrings and everything, like Dr. James White said. He makes a lot of emotional appeals, but he never once establishes how he knows anything to be evil to begin with. So, coming into the debate, he really has no foundation coming into the debate. At one point he said he pulled a definition of evil from, I think, reference.com or dictionary.com, and James White rightly pointed out, he said, so was there evil before the internet was created? And it just showed the absurdity of what David Silverman said. Yeah, in the beginning he's pulling a lot of heartstrings by making a whole lot of emotional appeals. Like he never wants he never wants to find how he knows anything to be evil. And Dr. James White mentioned about the fact that in his opening statement he was pretty much making strong arguments against Christianity. David Silverman, here's the stupidity of David Silverman. He turns around and claims that he didn't make a strawman argument, and then he tries to tell us what a strawman argument is, but then he misdefines what a strawman argument is. Like, dude, if you're going to say you didn't make a strawman argument, at least know what a strawman argument is to begin with. But so from the very beginning of the debate, he was already starting off on a bad foot. James White, as usual, he was spectacular. As usual, James White is a great debater. David Silverman should have never even tried to debate James White, because James White it was pretty much humiliating for him, because James White just tore him to shreds. And then there was a bunch of times during the debate, especially during the cross-examination, when David Silverman was questioning James White. James White had to correct him because David Silverman kept up. He doesn't understand he doesn't understand how to do a cross-examination. He kept on making assertions, I think, assuming that James White was going to bite his bait and go down a trail that is pretty much irrelevant. And James White said, rightly said, is that an assertion or is that a question? And so David Silverman had to go back. And then how sneaky he is. This is why you gotta watch Atheists. Because the assertion he made, when James White caught it and told him to rephrase it into a question, he changed his question. His question was different from his assertion. And James White even pointed that out too. But in the beginning, David Silverman was talking about, he was trying to question James White about predetermination. And he was talking a lot about predestination. He was trying to make, his point that he was trying to make was that if God predetermines everything, He predestines everything that comes to pass, even the salvation of individual people, then it's immoral for God to send him to hell if he dies and doesn't believe in God, because faith is a gift from God. And if God never gives him that faith, and he goes to hell, he's immoral. And as James White explains it numerous times, that no, he's not going to hell for not having faith in him. He's going to hell because of his sin and his rebellion against God and doing what he naturally desires to do, and that's to sin and rebel against God. And he didn't get that, just went way over his head. He didn't understand that. And because he doesn't understand the doctrine of election. Like James White rightly explains, the doctrine of election comes in a positive form and a negative form. The positive form is God intentionally electing certain individuals before the foundation of the world, certain individual sinners from before the foundation of the world to inherit salvation. And it had nothing based on anything they did, but solely based on His grace alone. And the negative form, which is reprobation, is God just allows them to pretty much go their natural way, pretty much do what their evil hearts desire to do. He just passes over them. That's what the doctrine of election is. It's not that God chose some for salvation intentionally, and He intentionally chose these for damnation. He just let them do what their natural hearts desire to do. So it's not that anybody goes to hell because they didn't have faith in God and faith in Christ. They go to hell because of their sinful, rebellious attitude and actions. And David Silverman didn't get that. It just went way over his head as usual. So in the beginning, it was getting kind of tiresome because David Silverman just kept asking the same question over and over and over. I was like, what's the point of the cross-examination if you're just going to ask the same question over and over and over again? There's one answer his question in as many different ways as he possibly could have, and he still didn't understand it. And then, when James White cross-examined David Silverman, he was trying to get David Silverman to make a definite definition of how he knows anything to be evil. And he tried saying that evil was a human construct. What did he say? He said evil was whatever humanity decided it to be, whatever local humanity decided it to be at that time. So then, James White questioned him about the Holocaust. And he said, okay, so what justification? Do you think that we in America, do you think we had do you think we had proper justification to get involved in World War II against the Axis powers? And David Silverman said, yes, according to our morality. But according to their morality, no, we did not. And he said, so you're willing to say that the soldiers who fought in World War II did it and died in that war, or risked their lives in that war for something that they subjectively thought and believed but could have been wrong about. And he said yes. And I was like, wow, that's just a slap in the face to every World War II veteran who fought in that war, who was a part of that war. But yeah. What was another part? He just he didn't like. Then there was another part where they were talking about family. James White, because David Silverman also said it's evil. Anything is evil that turns about it. Because a part of family. And James White challenged him to define what a family is. And David Silverman has struggled defining exactly what family was. And they said, how can you call evil or anything that tears apart a family when you can't even justify or give a definition of what a family is? So yeah, that was a really good point there too. Like there was many other points that David Silverman he did a horrible job in debate, and he was completely just humiliated. I applaud James White for his patience and his humility in this debate, because honestly, if I was debating David Silverman, like, I would have got so aggravated with this, because I don't like repeating myself. And David Silverman had James White repeating himself over and over and over again, because he just didn't understand. David Silverman just didn't, he doesn't understand what he's arguing against. Like, it just goes over his head. And I remember in the beginning of the debate, he quoted John MacArthur, and like when he just quoted John MacArthur, which is completely irrelevant to the debate completely. Like, that'd be like if I was debating Richard Dawkins and I quoted Christopher Hitchens. Like, come on, that's completely talking about a straw man argument. That's completely ridiculous. And James White even pointed that out, because the part that David Silverman was quoting was where John MacArthur talked about the age of accountability, and James White was like, do you think I believe in the age of accountability? And David Silverman said no. He was like, okay then. And then there was another part. I'll end here. But there was another part where they're talking about the Pauline letters, the Pauline epistles, and they wanted to know about what was it? They wanted to talk about what was it? The issue of slavery, and Paul abolishing slavery, and how Christians in the 1800s used the Pauline letters to how the Pauline epistles, were used by the Christians in the 1800s to defend the slavery of the 1800s. And Paul was like, you understand, what did he ask him? It was about his question about the context of the Pauline epistles. He said, do you think that it's right, do you think that we can actually understand what the Apostle Paul was meant back then when he wrote his letters? And David Silverman was doing a little dance, or he was trying to avoid the question. So then James was like, okay, you wrote some stuff, right? And he was like, yeah, on the internet. He was like, all right, so if someone, it was like you when you write your stuff on the internet, you have definite meaning to the words you use, right? And he was like, yeah. He was like, okay, so you would want someone to, when they read your stuff, to actually understand what you're saying, right? He said yes. He's like, okay. No. He asked him about Cicero. He's like, do you think we can actually understand what Cicero said? He's like, well, we can understand what he said, but I don't know if we can understand what he meant. So then that's when James White went into talking about his own personal writings. He's like, okay, so if someone 1,000 years from now dug up your internet blogs and found them, do you think that what you wrote still has the same meaning that like then that they meant now? And he said, well, I hope so. He was like, if someone took what you said and and said that you said something different, would that be an abuse of what you said, or would that be a use of what you said? And David Silverman said that would be an abuse. He's like, okay. So back to the Pauline letters. The Christians, the people of the 1800s, when they read the Pauline letters, and without knowing exactly what Paul meant when he wrote what he wrote, was that an abuse of what he said, or was that a use of what he said? And David Silverman again was doing a little dance. He wasn't answering the question. James White solidly proved that it was an abuse of the text. And then that came up later on again, where James White had to point out that the Germans that had on their shoulder that said "God with us," like the Nazis that had on their shoulder "God with us," he had to point out again that the point earlier was made that people could abuse a text, but that's not the same as using it. So just because someone abuses a text, that's not the text's responsibility. That's the person abusing the text. I thought that was a good point. But yeah, that's as far as I got so far. I'm almost done with the debate, but I'll be making part 2 shortly when I finish the debate. Alright. As always, rate, comment, and subscribe below. Bye.